one thing I want to talk about too is with Icosa, you have to make a decision almost in the early days. You know, are you going to go all in? Are you going to save some of your hedron for the liquidations? Are you going to use some of your hedron? Maybe this is what you have is mostly hedron. You don't want to give it your hex. Do you buy some hex with your hedron to then buy some Icosa to get a little bit in the pool? Do you put like $1 in the pot for the Minto? We all the source address NFT. Like, what do you do here? There's so many. Like, what's a couple safe ways to play this in your opinion, as far as strategy goes, for when it comes to Icosa, for making sure you're getting into the pool at least?
So the absolute safest thing you can do is just take all the hedron you have and just stake it. You're not losing anything. You don't have to buy it off the market, just from your hex stakes, mint your hedron, throw it in the hedron staking pool, forget about it. It's free coins on top of free coins on top of free coins. No risk. And, it's not going to be a lot because it's your freemium part of the system. But, over time, it could turn into a substantial amount. We saw T-shares go from 67 cents to like $5,000, if these tokens, their distribution are tied to that exact system that did the ROI over time, potentially these coins could do the same thing. So your freemium coins at the beginning of the system could turn out to be a large amount in the future. Totally. Now that's the potential. Now, if you want to go a little bit higher on the risk side of things, you can try to get into the Icosa staking pool. Now, if you want to do that in the first 30 days, like we were talking about, you're going to have to sell a HSI. You're going to have to sell a hex stake. Now, if you want to do this with because that's another thing where people are like, why would I sell a hex stake for this token? Like, hex stakes are really valuable. Why would you give it up? And I would say to that, just use funds that you wouldn't have staked for 15 years anyways. Like use the funds that you would have invested to something else, maybe like $100 or $200 of disposable income. If you just want to speculate on the system, funds that you weren't going to punt out for 15 years, but you were still going to speculate with anyways, just make an HSI, punt it out 555, sell it day one, and then get into this pool and just let the yield accumulate. That's another fairly safe way to do it on top of the hedron that you're staking as well. Yeah,
I love that. It is a very safe. Yeah, I mean, it is a gamble, but also it's a gamble that you're playing in the beginning of a situation where it could go really well your way. And the downside is you lose a very little amount.
It's an asymmetrical bet. And, $100, $200, a lot, the majority of people can afford. And hey, you know what? Maybe you just take $100, $200 off your liquid hex stack and chuck it to speculate. Like there's nothing wrong with that if you want to. And then finally, I wouldn't say this is more risky, but it's a little, you're going to lose your principal if you do this. And that's getting into the We Are All the SA pool. So for that one, it's like an adoption amplifier kind of thing where you send one of these coins that are on the list. I think it's USDC, ETH, Hex, Hedron. I think the code still has Maxi and PLSD in there. I don't know if he's going to keep those last two or not, but they're in the code right now as far as I know. And so the dollar value that you send to the pool, you get a point per dollar. And then just as there's 7.41 billion points and it's divided equally amongst all the points, it's the same for that pool, except specific NFTs have those points, not your stake. And in order to redeem the yield in that NFT that NFT is entitled to, you have to burn the NFT. Now, unlike the Icosa pool and the Hedron pool where you get all your principal back, this one, your principal's gone. You've purchased the NFT with those coins yourself through the adoption amplifier kind of system. And so that's a little bit more risky, where it's like, well, let's get into this pool where presumably less people are going to get in because you have to burn the asset to accumulate your yield and you don't get your principal back, but it's closed after the first 14 days. So over time, as people burn their NFTs, your proportion of the pool will go up and nobody else can come in to dilute you. You'll never be diluted. You'll only be inflated within that system. So if you want to take a little, live life a little bit more on the edge, then, that